What's up, everybody? Today we are doing Coldplay replay. This week we are ranking and reviewing every Coldplay album. We got a full stack this week because this is a very important album. So we got Some Other Josh, we got Asa Green River, we got Gino Viteri, we got Kate Rose, and we got Billy the Door. And some quick album facts for Josh. What album are we reviewing today? Ranking.
Viva La Vida, but not the regular edition, which I gotta say is actually kind of more preferable for me. But it's Viva La Vida, the Prospects March edition, the one and only.
Yeah, Viva La Vida, or Death and All of Its Friends. That's the full title. But we are
you messed it up, Josh.
We are listening. We did listen and ranked, and we will rank and review the Prospects March edition, which basically includes the EP. But we're gonna go with some quick rundown facts of the album for everybody. So the rundown time of the vanilla version of the album is a crisp 45 minutes and 55 seconds. So I think, yeah, perfect runtime. Like comparing it to all the others, it's definitely
easy listen,
easy breezy.
Yeah, it's 1,000%
beautiful
elevator
ride.
Yeah,
yes,
it's a little crisp because a lot of their other albums were like around an hour or longer.
Yeah.
But the Prospects March edition is a cool.
Too long.
It's a cool 1 hour and 13 minutes long.
well, I listened to this on Apple Music. I clocked in at 1 hour and 17 minutes because I had a fun little video of Chris Martin in a crown and a king's cape, and he's just marching around
In the
the
street
UK,
trying to
just
find
in
the
it.
venue.
Yeah.
Basic. I wish he was. I wish he's trying to find the venue and looking back at cars. No, this is something else.
Yeah, 1 hour and 13 minutes for the
Spotify edition.
Yeah, the Spotify normal edition. But I like that music video just because it's so weird. Like he's just in a king get up, just walking around. Like that's it. The album was released on June 12th, 2008. It's their fourth studio album. It was produced by Brian Eno, Marcus Straves, John Hopkins, and Rick Simpson. We'll get into it later, but Brian Eno.
University, John Hopkins?
Maybe, yeah. I think it's different spelling, so maybe not. But the big get for this, and we'll talk about it later, is Brian Eno, because he is a legendary
chef's kiss
figure in the music industry. Sales, 10 million sold. Massive.
Wow.
And Spotify streams we got for the vanilla version of the album on Spotify, we got 1.39 billion streams for all of the songs on that album. If you include the Prospects March EP with that, it's 1.56 billion. Some awards / charting figures. Charted #1 on the US Billboard 200, so pretty massive. Hit double platinum in the US. Won the 2009 Grammy for Best Rock Album, and then it was nominated for the 2009 Grammy Album of the Year. It was the #1 selling album on iTunes. This is when iTunes was like in full force, so pretty massive achievement. And it was also the best-selling album of 2008 period on any platform metric back in the day. So,
oh my god!
And we started this before a little sneak peek off recording, but what do y'all think about this album, man? Kate, we'll start with you.
Man, I love this album. I think this is an amazing album. Definitely, I think it's one of their best, and it's one of my personal favorites. I have a special connection with this album because it came out a few months before I went to London for the first time. And so I have vivid memories of being on the plane, traveling to London, and driving around a bus for a school trip in the streets of London and listening to this album and feeling like I was in a musical or something because it just fit the vibe so well. And this album just I listen to certain songs and it takes me back. And I'm I feel like I'm there. So I have a personal connection to this album, but also from a critical standpoint, I think it's definitely one of the best albums they've done.
Billy?
Yeah, so this was actually the first album that like came out that where I was a Coldplay fan prior. I remember the Violet Hill single coming out and being like, "Oh, this is so different from anything that they've done before, and so cool, so atmospheric." So I was very excited for the album to come out, and when it did come out, it was awesome. It was again very different, a lot of strings and all that. And even listening to it recently, I was almost every song I'm just like, oh my god, this is just so good. This is so good. Can't get enough of this. So
Awesome. Josh, what's your what are your
I
thoughts?
don't know.
I started listening to this earlier today, and I made it 3/4 through before I realized the Prospects March just like ends at track 10, and then we have 8 like additional tracks that just repeat. Almost kind of like DLC. We have Lost Plus, but it has like Jay-Z in it. That was cool.
Yeah.
Life in Technicolor 2, was far superior to Life in Technicolor 1. Gino was right about that.
Agreed.
Talked about that
Agreed.
the last 3 weeks. And then I went back and I listened to the 46-minute Breeze, and I prefer that album a lot more. Unlike previous albums, I think it's actually stacked in the latter half. From like Yes to the end of the album, all just tracks that I love versus like it kind of opens like a little weak, but not every track is weak. It's kind of like consistently decent until you get to that latter half. But I like it. I do miss the kind of the synths we were getting last week with X and Y. But in favor for the strings, I think we have a bit more impactful instrumentation on this one. So I like it.
Awesome. Asa, what are your thoughts?
I'm going to cut to the chase. Prospects March runtime of an hour. I'm going to go with yours, Josh, hour and 17.
Right.
Just watch the Lizzie McGuire movie. If you want to take something super impactful for that a length of time.
That's a good. Yeah, it's a good.
But the vanilla version at 45 minutes, don't miss out. It's a great version. There were a couple of songs that I was like, you know what? Like, I guess I had rose tinted glasses whenever, because I haven't like listened to the album in its entirety for a long time until like prepping for this episode. So I definitely think I had some rose tinted glasses because I was thinking it was like wall to wall banger, and I thought it was going to rank number 2 for me. Um, but it doesn't, because I had a couple of in my head skippables, but I just listened to them and I let them play through, and I'm like, okay, not my favorite. Like, yes. I was like, not maybe no. But yeah, I thought there were a lot of really good tracks on there. It was a lot of fun, and um I think if Coldplay would have sticked with this vibe, because like as we said last time, it's like every album is like a new Coldplay. I feel like if they would have stuck with this one, I feel like they would have had a really good niche, because not a lot of groups have this type of sound anymore, right? Like at that time, I feel like everybody was kind of trying to pull from the Beatles a little bit. Like I remember very distinctively, like Panic at the Disco went through their phase of pulling from the Beatles very heavily. But I think I wish that they would have stuck with this sound, because I really dig it.
Okay, awesome. Gino, what are your thoughts of this album?
So I wanna paint a picture for you guys. I want to paint a picture for you guys.
All right, paint
Ready.
it, you know. I'm
Um,
ready.
no, don't close your eyes, Josh.
Okay,
Okay.
all right, cool.
I'll talk directly to you. So remember, I'm gonna talk directly to you. Let me get closer to the camera. So picture, let's say a 15-year-old, 15-year-old Gino.
Okay.
Right? I am walking to pick up my sister at middle school. I'm in high school at this point, right?
Right.
And I lay eyes on the love of my life right now, which is my girlfriend currently right now, right? I lay my eyes on her, right? And for
Cry.
some reason, when I listened to Lovers in Japan, this album came out in 2008, right?
Yep.
I heard myself. Who's that going? My relationship with my girlfriend started in 2009. We're still happily together. And Lovers in Japan is that song that I listened to when I fell in love with her. So that's a very, very emotional song to me.
Hey,
Lovers in Japan, I will say, is my favorite song in this album. But I did not listen to this album the way I guess that you guys did. I didn't listen to the entire album. I just listened to specific songs. Um, so that's how I fell in love with it. Listening to it now, I'll go back because I'm getting serious now. Well, that was serious, but you know what I mean.
right, right.
Now we're
the
going.
most serious. I'm
now we're
literally
going to
almost in
agree.
tears.
Now we're going to review. Now we're going to review mode. Listening to it now as a full album, as an adult, I agree with Asa. Extend it's welcome. What's the saying? I said that wrong. Overstays its welcome.
Yeah.
That's what it is. Overstays its welcome. Aside from Life in Technicolor 2. If you
100%.
had Life in Technicolor 2, as the part of the Prospects edition, that's why I say Prospects edition is a must hear. Because of Life in Technicolor 2. That one song carries that second part of it.
Right.
Aside from that, there's the thing about this album is this album, compared to the last ones that we listened to, this one has more of my favorite songs than any of the other ones do. But it also has more songs that I just don't like either. So that's
Fair
why
enough.
it's like it's really up and down for this album. But there is songs that are just the biggest songs to me, with Coldplay in general. So yeah, very 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 impactful album for me.
Wow,
Hope you guys painted that picture properly.
that was
I
beautiful.
cannot believe
man.
you just hit
Yeah.
us with that. I'm like sniffly now because that seriously made me emotional. Oh
Are
my
you
god.
are you gonna go to Japan for your honeymoon and just listen to Lovers in
I would
Japan?
love to go to Japan. I haven't gone yet, but we will
Oh,
We'll make it
go
happen.
one day.
that song has to be like in your wedding ceremony somehow. Like a nice
Oh,
like
I love
string
that song.
instrumental. Or oh my gosh, that
Oh,
is
wow.
beautiful. I love that.
I love
Ah,
that song so much.
can I be your wedding planner? Just kidding.
Almost.
I have some thoughts.
So for me, this was the album that got me into Coldplay. So it holds a very special place
Oh.
in my heart. For that fact alone, like, yeah, I'll never forget. I was at this like, I think, yeah, I was going into freshman year of high school, so it was like a like transition like event thing at our school, and I'll never forget talking to my friend Clark, and just I don't even remember what we were talking about, but I heard Viva La Vida come on, and it just instantly like it instantly hooked me, and I'll never forget. Like I was like I just stopped paying attention to him. I just my ear peaked up, and I just like
Ray Clark.
in terms of like
Clark, you listening to this right now, dude? You hearing this?
in terms of like yeah, like your yada yada, all that stuff. So and going back home and like downloading, this is the iTunes era for me, so like buying like 3 songs or whatever was left on my iTunes credit, so like buying Viva and stuff, and just like, yeah, it was just the start of my fandom. And I'll never like the iTunes commercial that they did for this album was big. It was like that 30-second Viva, like,
Yes. Iconic.
and it was like kind of in that old iTunes commercial where they did the
Yeah.
silhouettes and stuff, so it was like so iconic and so cool. And yeah, like I didn't get into the album until after it had released, so some of the later singles that got dropped, like catching up on those and the music videos and all that. So I love this album. I probably will rank it higher than most here. But yeah, I'm kind of surprised that some of y'all didn't like some of the songs. Like I feel like this is the most complete. I honestly think it's a more complete album in terms of like quality than like Parachutes for me, which is number 1 right now. So I just love the different tone and sound that they went for in this album, because the first 3 albums are pretty like they're pretty distinct in terms of like they're like a set almost in a certain way. And so this album, like, yeah, I just love how different they got. And as they go on, right, they've changed their sound so much. But yeah, I love this album, and That's why I picked the Prospects March edition, just because it's arguably Coldplay's peak in terms of commercial and critical success. And
Big agree. Yeah.
and I think
Yeah.
this is the only like deluxe edition that they've ever done on an album in terms of like studio release. Like I don't like Parachutes, Brush, X and Y didn't have like a deluxe edition, right? At
Right.
least in
Thought
the
they-
States.
Did they do that for Ghost Stories?
Ghost Stories that they did like a Target exclusive and
Maybe that's what I'm thinking of.
Now that
yeah.
you mentioned ghost stories, though, in the first episode, Parachutes, I called the album Magic, and that was a severe mistake by me. Nobody.
Oops.
Whoops.
You guys are freaking. Brett was like, "Yeah, yeah." He didn't freaking correct me, dude.
Yeah,
what the
you
hell,
did.
man?
Oh,
First he
man.
apologizes and then he calls us all out.
Okay, so let's get into some of the reviews, guys, because I just said that the critical success was pretty positive. But we'll start with Pitchfork again, as always.
Yes.
So,
Heck
Uh,
yeah,
Is it
dude.
the same guy?
No, it's a different
Ah,
got
so this one's
fired.
gonna
different
this one's gonna
gentleman
be
this
fair.
time.
He got
Wow.
fired.
He got fired.
Okay.
Hey man, it's getting personal for you. So
no, I think this.
understand.
yeah,
You
I
don't
don't
like
think you can
Coldplay.
review them.
Found him in a garage with pictures and red string everywhere. It's all big conspiracy.
So Ryan Domball reviewed it for Pitchfork. He gave it a 6.9 out of 10.
Nice.
So
Nice.
Nice.
so
Man, they
Oh,
just
wow.
really don't let go. That's crazy.
So it's not, it's not like objectively high, but it's higher than I think any other Coldplay album that they
Yeah,
reviewed.
we got a copycat killer. That's what this is.
Yeah. And a quick little rundown is he said the new album expands their individuality in tiny, effective ways while maintaining their world-beating gifts. The record's violent, revolution-themed artwork is misleading. Viva is more like a bloodless coup, shrewd and inconspicuous in its progressive impulses. So,
What?
yeah, that's what he
There-
said.
I don't know how I feel about that.
Not only is it hard to understand, but it just seems negative, to be honest with you.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
I don't know what that means, but I don't like it.
I don't like it. It wasn't nice.
It's like he's trying to sound smart when he's really not.
Just saying a lot of big words there.
Didn't hear the word good.
This is his first big job.
And he used the word bloodless, which I don't know when else I would bring it up, but there was an unreleased track from this era called Bloodless Revolution that is fantastic. If you ever want to give it a listen, just YouTube it, and it's a fantastic.
Well, you didn't tell us to listen to that, Brett. So
I
have
know,
not listened to it.
I know. No, you're good. I was just saying, like, I have this like whole album of like unreleased Coldplay songs, and
The rest of the episode's about.
Well, share the album.
How do you have them if they're not released?
Oh, I have unreleased Taylor Swift songs.
Yeah, internet.
Call.
It's possible.
He's gonna leave the car right now.
Are you allowed to share those?
I don't know. I mean, I can share it.
We'll talk about it after.
Yeah.
We'll talk about it after, not now.
That's for that's for the after show.
Yeah.
Rolling Stones. Will Hermes. Hope I'm pronouncing his name right. He gave it a 3.5 out of 5, so pretty good review.
Not bad.
He says Coldplay's desire to unite fans around the world with an entertainment they can all relate to is the band's strength and a worthy goal. But on Viva La Vida, a record that wants to make strong statements, it's also a weakness. Sometimes to say what needs to be said, you need to risk pissing people off. So I believe he's just taking a shot at the lyrics, and I feel like that's a common Coldplay criticism from the beginning to now is some lyric.
I don't want to diverge us too much, but did anybody say that they were trying to make some sort of statement? Like, I understand, like, the cover art, like, evokes this revolutionary feel, but did Chris Martin say, hey, everybody, guess what? When this album comes out, we're flipping governments over. Like, I just don't...
Taxing the rich.
I don't remember that being a thing, so I don't understand why everyone's so fixated on it.
And Kate might have more insight into this, but I just from my general sense of
I do.
knowing the band and knowing their creative processes, they're always trying to say something impactful and meaningful. So if a reviewer is saying like their lyrics and the album doesn't do that, then maybe that's kind of like them saying they missed out on their goal. But Kate, if you have any knowledge you want to drop on the impact of
Sure.
the whole album, it'd be great.
Yeah. I don't think that they were trying to necessarily drop a political statement album as a whole, but there are one song specifically, Violent. I always want to say Violent instead of Violet, and I wow. Okay, so
Yeah.
I know track 8, Violet Hill. On the Genius website, it says that this is Coldplay's first attempt at a protest / political song, which doesn't quite make sense to me because on A Rush of Blood to the Head, we literally have a song called Politic, which is like, and again, I understand where that critiquer from Rolling Stone is coming from. Like, I do think that the band does try to create a global political message in a friendly way. They're not really trying to like make bold claims because, like I said before, like Chris Martin just reminds me of this like British like Buddha guy. Like he's very like happy-go-lucky, kind of like let's just all get along, while still trying to kind of be like, hey, but the world kind of sucks. So I do get that, but I don't think there's anything wrong with that. Like if he wants to make slightly more positive music, like more power to him. Like there's enough music out there that's, you know, about smashing the patriarchy and giving the finger to politicians and whatever. So like, you know, you can get that elsewhere if that's what you want. But yeah, so Violet Hill actually has an interesting backstory because the first line of the song, "It was a long and dark December," is the first line ever written by Coldplay as an entire band. And it's the lyric and the melody that bassist Guy Berryman heard that made him want to be in the band Coldplay. And so this was back like way before they were writing Parachutes. And then Chris Martin didn't finish writing the song until they were writing Viva La Vida. And he was inspired to finish the song one day while he was watching Bill O'Reilly on Fox News.
Nice. Wow.
And he thought...
Quick question.
Yeah.
So one of them was inspired to join the band because of that one line, is that what you said?
Yes.
It was a long
and the melody of the song, yes.
And the melody of the song. Wow.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Mhm.
I read too that for Violet Hill, Chris Martin was reading a lot of Charles Dickens during the
okay.
recording of that song, so that would make sense too.
It checks out, yeah. And then I sent this video to the group chat. I don't know if you all saw it, but so Violet Hill has a music video, but they recorded a second well, they didn't record it, but they created a second music video to this song, which is an accumulation of politicians from that era like dancing to the song.
Even they had like Castro or something too, right? They had like all eras.
Mixed in with visions of like war and bombings and other stuff, and it gives you like very strange vibes because it's a lot. I mean, yeah, there is Castro, but there's also like a lot of like George Bush dancing.
Yeah.
And it's just like, oh no, like it gives you like very strange feels because this song is, I would say it's probably, you know, I don't know, in some ways it's a more political song than Politic, I think, like in terms of the actual lyrics and like storytelling. So I think they were definitely trying to put a message out there with this song, but in the album as a whole, I think they were trying to more like create like a feeling of being in a certain like time period as opposed to like sticking it to the man kind of vibe, if that makes sense.
Yeah. So favorite song, guys. What was your favorite song from the album? Ace, I'll start with you.
Lovers in Japan.
Wow, okay. The
Yeah.
regular version or the remix at the end?
I like them both. Oh man, that's tough. I wasn't expecting you to ask that. I'm just gonna say Lovers in Japan.
Okay, that's fair because
Because I can't pick between the two.
yeah, Billy kind of in our group DM poked fun at Josh for this, but this album has 3 hidden tracks, and Lovers in Japan has one of the hidden tracks, and
One of the best ones.
Rain of Love is so beautiful. It's just so
Yeah.
calm and soothing. But the remix version, which is just Lovers in Japan, just extended and mixed up a little bit, I love too. So yeah, I don't know if I could
Yeah.
pick between either one too. They're 2 different energies. So, Josh, favorite song from Viva La Vida?
I think I gotta go Violet Hill. I like the ambience of the opening, and then it just hits you with some impactful instrumentation, whether on the keys, and then you have that like guitar come in, that bana bana, and and the drums, and I like the progression throughout the song, and then like mixing up the chorus with like "If you love me, why'd you let me go?" instead of "If you love me, won't you let me know?" Uh,
Mm.
yeah, a close second though. Technicolor too. Gino was absolutely right on that.
Ooh.
That song is
Yeah.
chef's kiss. That song is so perfect.
Mhm.
Um, yeah, Violet Hill is fantastic. I love the piano at the end. Like when
Oh yeah.
anytime, yeah,
Oh
I said this before.
yes.
Anytime you bring a song back to like a super like, yeah, it's fantastic. Billy, what's your favorite song from the album?
I think I gotta go with Death and All His Friends, the original ending
Ah,
of Viva La Vida, the album. Just because you get like, it's very intimate in the beginning, and then it just goes wild by the end. Like he's counting in 7, and you're just crying and sulking because it's just so emotional. Um, but yeah, and I think it's a great end. Like I can I haven't been to a concert, but I can very much picture like getting super amped, being at a concert, like this closing it out, and yeah,
Yeah,
it's a good one.
I love when I was listening to the album today and just writing notes. I wrote down that the intimate beginning and then that explosion midway through is awesome. It definitely carries that energy, and the that one guy from Pitchfork, like I don't know, I loved all the lyrics in this album, especially Death and All of His Friends.
Yeah,
Like the ending chorus about like uh, a
don't
cycle of
want to battle from
revenge
beginning.
and
Yeah, don't want to battle from beginning to end.
mhm. Yeah,
Cycle of recycled revenge.
it's powerful. So
Yeah.
it definitely
So
hit me in the heart for sure. Uh,
What's interesting about Death and All His Friends is that it loops around to Life in Technicolor again,
mhm.
mhm.
which I think is so cool that it does that.
Yeah. What's your favorite song, Gina?
Well, I mentioned "Lovers in Japan" as an extremely emotional song for me. Um, but I'm gonna have to say "Life in Technicolor" too
Two.
as my favorite song in the album. Cause I loved "Life in Technicolor." Um, and I think you mentioned this previously, Brett, where it would be better with lyrics or something.
Uh huh.
I don't know if you said that, but I thought, I love just soundtracks. I love, even if it doesn't have lyrics, I think they're incredible. I love movie soundtracks and stuff like that. I like listening to that. And Life in Technicolor is incredible. And for them to add lyrics and make it even better, I think is really that's awesome. So I would say Life in Technicolor too is probably my favorite Coldplay song. But we haven't listened to the BTS one yet. So
Yeah.
Verdict's still out.
Very true. That's
uh,
yeah. I think I said something along the lines of like when I first listened to the album when I was younger and uh, I just didn't have the money to buy all the songs, I guess, and like I just remember being like not angry, but just like miffed. Is that a word? Miffed.
Mhm.
Miffed that like I was like, man, this like instrumental is so great. I just wish there were like lyrics and words to go along with this. And then later on, they dropped Life in Technicolor too as the EP, as part of that EP and single. And yeah, it's Life in Technicolor 2 is fantastic. The music video is so cool too. It's so unique. Like I don't think I've ever seen a music video like that. And I think Life in Technicolor was in Night at the Museum 1
Was it? I don't
at the end when they're celebrating. It's in
know.
one of the,
Yes.
yeah.
Yes.
And I
Oh,
remember
really?
Really?
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
That's
remember
interesting.
I
Bumping up
remember
for me.
watching that movie and like doing like a when I was like 14 or whatever. I was like, yeah, let's go.
But man, I really do, because it is hard saying Life in Technicolor too, because like I said earlier, this album has more of my favorite songs than any other album does.
Mhm.
Strawberry Swing is incredible.
Mm,
Violet Hill, I love. Viva La Vida. Lost, I think, is a classic. Um, I like A Glass of Water from the Prospects edition.
yeah.
I think that one's pretty good. But yeah, there's just so many, dude.
Yeah.
They're all so good.
Asa, what's your favorite song from the album? Or I already asked you, Kate.
I could tell you again.
You want
Yeah,
to
Lovers in Japan.
Read
It,
it,
it
Asa.
was because of the two versions of the song. Yeah. Kate.
Well, you know me, I have to have a top three. I can't just pick one.
Mhm.
So my top three are Life in Technicolor 2, Strawberry Swing, and Lovers in Japan, with honorary mention to Death and All His Friends. I love Death and All His Friends, the song, but it makes me very emotional. And again, I already talked about how I had like experience with this album when I was traveling to London, and I actually had um an emotional crying, like slight anxiety attack on the 11-hour flight listening to this song. It just made me so emotional. I started like sobbing because it was so beautiful and I was so tired from the flight and from jet lag. And so I don't know. It's just one of those songs. Like, I don't know if any of you have a song that's like, it's so beautiful and you love it, but you almost can't listen to it because it makes you feel so weird. Kind of like Imogen Heap's Hide and Seek. You know that song? How
Mhm.
like first, I don't know, like again, that's another example for me where it's like I love that song, but I can barely listen to it anymore because it's just like it evokes such deep
Yeah.
feelings for me. I'm emotional, you know. It's just who I am. So that's why it's an honorary mention. And honestly, the same with Strawberry Swing. Sometimes I actually can't listen to that song because it just makes me feel like such a certain way.
Mhm.
It's yeah, but I love it.
Yeah, for me, this is tough because, like I said, I feel like it's the most complete album so far from uh, a song perspective. Like, yeah, I don't know if I have any songs that I dislike on this album. Truly, like, they're all I love them all, and um, I I've avoided this previously, but I might have to go with Viva La Vida just because. Yeah, just
What?
because. What?
Okay.
What? Sorry, no, keep
Oh
going.
no, I mean it's probably their most famous. No, not probably not. I don't know. Scientists might be up there, but it's like it's just an iconic song, and it's
It is you.
it's
Packed a punch.
yeah, it's so beautiful lyrically, instrumentally. Them playing it live is unreal. Um, but yeah, like man, like Life in Technicolor 2, Postcards. I love Postcards from Far Away, by the way. Like we can get into more discussion on that later, but yeah, Violet Hills is fantastic. Strawberry Swing, like definitely a love song in my early days. Yes, I actually like Yes a lot.
Ooh.
I love how because as part of like their initiative creating this album, they wanted to differentiate their sound, and Chris sings super low in a lot of the songs in this album, and I actually like that he like tries something different.
Mhm.
It's so strange, but it's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I'm all about it. That's why I say like yes to the end of the album is like very strong because I
Mm.
like yes. My only problem with it is like when they do the big instrumental change, like
You don't like
just over halfway through.
Chinese sleep chant?
What one's that one?
That's the hidden
Is that?
track in Yes.
Oh, okay. That might be it. Yes. Okay. Yeah, because it's so jarring. They don't build up to that like to that part. It just kind of like makes a weird like boot up noise, like a whoop, and then it just like goes hard. It's like, oh, I kind of would have preferred like some sort of gradual um like ramp up to get there.
Yeah. I love the guitar for that though.
Yes, but when you're there, it's great.
Yeah, Lovers in Japan's great. I love 42, especially the live version. The live version,
42 is so good.
the live version is incredible. Ace, I don't know if you've listened to the live album for this era, but it's
No,
unreal.
but they did 42 in concert when I went to see them because I saw them for the Viva La Vida tour.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was the first time that I saw Coldplay live because I had like adult money. So I was like, oh, I can
Right.
pay for my own concerts. Yeah, and it was absolutely incredible. They played just about the entire album front to back. Then, of course, like popping in fan favorites from other albums.
Right.
And then closing out with, not including the encore, but like closing out with Viva La Vida with confetti everywhere. And you're like, what is life right now? It's so good.
Wow.
Changed your whole life, man.
Yeah.
So the singles, does anybody know the 4 singles off the top of their head from this album? And what song did they lead with? Gino,
Viva La Vida.
they did not lead with Viva
it
La
was-
Vida.
Violet Hill.
Yes.
Violet Hill. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yep.
They led with Violet Hill, and then it was Viva La Vida, and then it was Lost, and then Strawberry Swing was the final single from that era. And the music videos, they're good. They're not great, I would say. I do
My
like.
favorite is Strawberry
They're
Swing.
no scientists.
Yeah, I mean, Science is like literally one of the best ever. And
I think the Strawberry Swing music video is fun.
yeah, it's very unique. I love the visual element of like the kind of cardboard cutout paper mache with him being like a superhero or whatever. Like,
Yeah.
and Viva, I do like. There's like 2 or 3 Viva music videos. Josh watched. Did you watch that one? Did you actually watch it?
Yeah, I
Yeah.
watched the entire thing. It was it was a fun little ride. It was
Yeah.
a fun little ride. Chris Martin just loves walking around the streets in the UK over there. Whether it's in
He
Connecticut
loves
or whether
walking.
he's almost getting hit by cars. Like he just loves walking.
But the
He's getting
regular
those steps in, you know?
Oh yeah.
the regular music video I do like a lot. It's like that. It's the painterly like look.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, so I think Lost is like just them at like the United Center in Chicago, just playing live. So that's cool, I guess. But and Violet Hill, I love that you sent me that. I don't even know if it was like, I've never seen that video before, Kate, when you sent it to me. I like that one much better than the regular music video.
Yeah.
So that was very cool. I do like that hidden.
It's wild. I recommend everyone go watch it who's listening to this.
Yeah.
It's very strange. It's very political turmoil in 2008 vibes.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, because
Yeah.
that was before Obama got elected. So yeah, definitely. So
Yeah.
opener. So for the opener discussion, since we listened to the deluxe EP, we can almost include Life in Technicolor 2, but let's start with Life in Technicolor 1. What do you guys think about Life in Technicolor to open the album? Gino, I'll start with you.
I mean, like I said before, I think I love the vibe that it starts with. I think it's an incredible standalone track on its own without any lyrics. And it sets up. I think I don't think it's accompanied well by the next song, Cemeteries of London. I think it because it doesn't have any lyrics, and then the first song that starts with lyrics is Cemeteries in London. It makes it feel weaker, that start of the album. But Life in Technicolor on its own is such a strong song that I think it's just so good. If Life in Technicolor 2 didn't exist, that would be my favorite one. Yep.
I have a quote from Guy Berryman about it. He said that they always had in mind that they wanted to start the record with that melody, and I think they had already written the lyrics for it, but with the lyrics they didn't think that it fit as like a first track, and so that's why they had it on the EP instead and just the instrumental to start it, which I think is fine. Like I'm glad that the one with lyrics is at least like out in the world, because again, it's clearly one of the best. Like we all seem to love it. But I do agree with Gino that the second track is then kind of an odd, abrupt, like it's a very much like a vibe swap. Because to me, Life in Technicolor 2 is kind of a song to like blast in the car, like driving through the city at night, like just
Right.
fun, exciting vibes. And then all of a sudden it's like, ooh, it's like dusk in like 1850 in London, and it's like Les Miserables, and like it's like fog's rolling in, and it's very different. So like I don't love that like sequence of tracks, but it is what it is.
Yeah, Kate, it's funny that you mentioned that because about the song lyrics, because I remember like the album coming out, being stoked about Life in Technicolor, and then like I remember finding the lyrics online and like trying to like piece them in, and I didn't do a good job with it. But yeah, it's funny that you mentioned that they had the lyrics, but they just didn't put them in.
Yeah.
That's funny
Yeah.
because sometimes I still find myself when I start listening to Life in Technicolor 2, I sort of if I want to sing along, I start earlier or I miss the start
Yes.
because
Mhm.
they
Yes.
do. You don't expect when they're gonna come in, which is interesting. Like,
Yeah.
they do it. They pull it off so well. It's wild.
That's hilarious. I do the same thing almost every time. Yeah, I'm never on cue. So yeah, let's go with Life in Technicolor 2 because that's technically the opener for the EP. Like, what do you guys think about that song? I mean, we kind of already talked about it. That we all love it, but like to open the second half of the album, the EP, like, what do you guys think about it? Kate, we'll start with you.
It's fine. It makes sense, I guess. It's kind of like, oh, here's the album, take 2. This time you're getting the song with lyrics.
Yeah.
I don't know. I have to be honest and say that I hadn't listened to most of the Prospects March. So I listened to a lot of these songs for the first time.
Yeah.
And not a huge fan. The Postcards from Far Away instrumental is beautiful. Glass of Water is okay. The song Rainy Day sounds exactly like a song out of The Sims 2. For anyone who played The Sims 2 and knows that music, listen to the first 20 seconds of Rainy Day by Coldplay. You'll get a giggle out of it. Lost with Jay-Z, I thought was an interesting choice. I don't think it needed to be done. I don't really know what they were thinking there. It's fine. The Lovers in Japan Osaka Sun Mix, to me, I could not really tell the difference. If it's but love that song, so it sounds great. Now My Feet Won't Touch the Ground, probably the best song on that EP besides Life in Technicolor 2, in my opinion. And fun fact, that instrumental evolved from the song Till Kingdom Come from X and Y. It's a
Yeah.
very similar guitar melody.
Yeah.
And I love that song, so like it fits, my vibe
Yeah.
as far as Coldplay songs go. So
Yeah, it's awesome. So we'll switch to the closer discussion. So Death and All of Its Friends, we'll start with that one and we'll go to the second song. But how does Death and All of Its Friends close the vanilla version of the album? Asa, I'll start with you. Or Gino, you raised your hand, Gino.
Oh, Gino, you were polite. I just got called on. You go ahead.
Because I wanted to mention Life in Technicolor 2, where you asked before.
Yeah.
Where was this, guys, before, huh? That's my thought. That's how I think of it. Like, guys, what are you holding this one, dude? What's going on there? That's
Oh my
with
God.
Life in Technicolor 2 and disc 2. Like, why do you hold on to that song? Death and All His Friends, though, like I said earlier, I think I really I'm not sure what other band does this. Maybe because I don't listen to albums like I've been doing with this one, but I love it when they connect all their songs. And the fact that this one loops around back into Life in Technicolor, with the melody, I think is it's just like, all right, we're listening to the album again because that's just what it makes you want to do. I think it's an incredible. I don't think any other album do this before this one. Did they loop around like that?
I want to say yes.
Yeah. Yeah, Coldplay.
Oh, Coldplay specifically?
Yeah,
No,
I don't think
I don't
so.
think
No, right?
so.
No, right. So yeah, I think the fact that they did that, it's just a cool little from a technical standpoint. Just the fact that they can do two completely different songs, but some of the melody stays in one song and then the other one it's there. Um, and if you think of it too, Def and All His Friends does go also straight into just disc two. So I don't know if that's how they meant for it to happen as well. Um, but I think it's an excellent closer.
Yeah.
Probably the best one.
I would love to hear Josh's thoughts since he's like the resident. I don't love the last track
Yeah.
on any
Alright.
album.
I was watching the SNL 2008 performance because I forgot Brett sent me them 2 weeks ago. So I've been enthralled with these guys who look like they're like from like Oliver Twist or like they clean chimneys in like the UK, just bouncing around on this SNL stage. It's crazy. Death and All His Friends, man, weak track, just so boring. I'm kidding.
I was like,
Oh my
It's-
god.
That's a
it's
throw
it's
in.
one of the better tracks, one of the better closers for sure. And then going into Life in Technicolor 2, like I like that loop around and like listening to this today, like oh man, I was already 46 minutes deep and I was like, man, we have a whole nother 30 minutes left to go on this Prospects March. Oh my god. And then the way Death and All His Friends closed out and then Technicolor 2 just brought the energy with like the revamped version with the lyrics. So um like it kind of like picked me back up for those last that last half an hour there. So I liked it. It's not my favorite closing track, but it's a good closing track.
Billy, what are your thoughts on Death and All of His Friends?
So yeah, I talked a little bit about it before, but the progression. I think I've talked about. I like when a song has progression. Takes you on a journey, right? And this song definitely does. As it progresses from that quieter beginning portion,
Mhm.
and then it just ramps up, gets nuts. You're counting in seven. You don't know what's going on. You're screaming at the top of your lungs along with Chris Martin. Tears running down your face, and then you get that nice little like end melody that they opened the album with to kind of bring it all together. So yeah, no, my favorite for
Yeah.
sure.
We brought up this lyric before, but that lyric of I don't want a cycle of recycled revenge, which is a genius lyric, that was added by producer Brian Eno.
Wow.
He apparently he like loved this song and got very heavily involved in this song. And it took them like a while to record it, I think, because they were really trying to just like perfect it in the way that they wanted it.
Yeah, that's interesting that you brought that up because I wrote down that during the production of this album, Eno required every song on the album to sound different. And
That's interesting.
I feel like they achieved that. I don't feel like, at least in
Mhm.
in the vanilla
Yeah.
version of the album, I don't feel like there's like two songs that sound samey to me. So
Right.
they got that done.
I agree.
Yeah, yeah,
I think every song is very different, and yet I think they all fit really well together as a cohesive album,
yeah.
which is really hard to do, honestly. So it's honestly
It is.
pretty impressive, I think.
And yeah, all the Eno stuff, like we could go on for hours about it, but like just the production and recording like stuff that he made them do that they had never done before, like in terms of just playing sounds and stuff just to like get the hook of like what they were trying to go for and all that. It was
And claps.
claps, yeah, a couple of claps and some songs. Oh,
I did some claps for the first time.
I wrote down which song was it that I wrote down the claps that I loved it.
Cemeteries of London and Strawberry Swing specifically
Yeah.
are two I know that they do
Strawberry
claps.
Swing too.
And in Strawberry Swing, in the very, very beginning, you kind of hear like some echoing backgrounds.
Mhm.
It's, I can't remember which member it is. It might be Guy, but he's kind of saying like, "Oh no, that's too fast," and they're like trying to like get the beat of the claps, and then that's how the song starts.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Hey, so what do you think about Death and All His Friends?
Yeah, I thought it was a phenomenal end. I think with the way that it leads into Life in Technicolor 2, this might sound egregious, but I would have been so okay for like a 10-minute song or for Life in Technicolor 2 to be the actual close just because of the way that it just rolls right into it. And I loved like the other songs, even though I feel like an hour 17 minutes is too long. I feel like Disc 2 could have been its own thing, could have been a sequel album. But just take Life in Technicolor 2 and bump that up into the track list and make that like like I said, either a 10-minute song or have that be the ending, because the way that it just flows into it, so good. It's so good.
Yeah, that's a great idea. I love that. If we could go back in time, man, that would
Yeah.
that's such a cool idea. For me, like, and we've already talked about it a little bit, but the energy that Death and All His Friends ends on, it's just so triumphant and joyful that like you said, Asa, like seeing that in concert to like close out a concert must have been unreal. And
Yeah.
I love how it ends on such like a positive note. And so let's transition to the EP. So Now My Feet Won't Touch the Ground. How does that how does that act as a closer for y'all in terms of the whole Prospect March edition of Viva La Vida and just that EP as its own? Josh, I'll start with you.
I mean, it's a cool track. However, my closer was the Viva La Vida Anton Corbijn version. So this so you get to the end here, and the chords from Viva La Vida start picking up, and then like my MacBook brings up the music video. So I think that was a fun end to watch. Chris Martin walk around the city. But Now My Feet Won't Touch the Ground. Um, it's like it's a slower, somber song, but I think it's fine. It's like it's definitely like at the end of an hour and 17 minutes, I kind of was not fully paying attention to it though, because it's like, man, like let's get this going. And then Chris Martin brought the energy back when he was just walking with his little king get up.
Strutting.
Oh yeah.
Oh, he's strutting.
You'll be surprised, but I have thoughts.
Yeah. Let's hear it. Let's hear 'em.
I think it's a perfect ending. So, we talked about before how a major theme of this whole album and the EP is war. And this feels like a kind of like a soldier coming home, dealing with the aftermath of war vibe. And like the first the first lyric is, "Let me go, boys, let me go, push my boat from the highest cliff to the sea below." Like, it just sounds, I don't know, there's just this vibe of like, these men who have just like been through something unspeakable, going through stuff, and he's kind of like exhausted, and he's just trying to like come to terms with everything that's happened. I don't know. I think it's great. I think it's a beautiful way to end it. I think Death and All His Friends is also a great ending, though. I kind of wish My Feet Won't Touch the Ground was part of the original album, to be honest. But I also think it's interesting because like the phrase "Now My Feet Won't Touch the Ground" is in a few of the songs as a lyric.
Yeah.
It's a recurring theme. And I honestly don't really know exactly how to describe it. Like, some have described it as kind of like dying and going to heaven because you're not on Earth anymore. Like, if you want to get like literal about it. I think it could also be seen metaphorically as like just kind of being more in your head and being more like in thoughts as opposed to like grounded and part of like reality and what's going on in the world. But I don't know. I think that song is really great, and I kind of wish it had been on the actual album.
Yeah, I love that song. I think it's a fantastic closer for the EP itself and the extended album as well. I might prefer Death and All of His Friends over that, but I love Now My Feet Won't Touch the Ground. It's a very intimate song. It's very Parachutes vibe, which I obviously
Oh
love.
my gosh, yeah.
Yeah, and then like with the whole the lyrics and just like the symbolism of that. Like you already knocked off most of them, but for me, I always thought of like when you experience like pure like euphoria or happiness, and you feel like you're floating.
Mhm.
That's what I kind of like thought about with the lyrics and the other songs and the name for this song. And they've used that symbolism a lot not in other albums and EPs too, like especially a lot of their pre-parachute stuff too. Like
Mhm.
has a lot of symbolism similar to that. But yeah, uh, Billy, did you weigh in yet? What did you think about "Now My Feet Won't Touch the Ground"?
I agree that it's a very cute song, that it's a very nice song, but like I listened to it and I'm like, oh, I'd much like
It's cute.
I want to listen to Kingdom Come
Music.
instead.
Right.
Yeah.
'Cause it's just like
Fair.
I feel like I've heard this before, and like it's a good song in its own right, but it just seems like a little derivative. But like I kind of can set that aside considering that this is like an EP of B-sides. So,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
but yeah,
Billy, you listening to Viva La Vida right now?
maybe no, I'm not.
I see it on.
It says
on
that you are.
Yeah. Fucking liar, dude.
Got him.
Like,
Got him.
I'm just trying to jam with myself, guys. Don't call me out.
Whoa, whoa.
The album or the song?
The song.
No, I was listening to a glass of water.
Yeah,
Oh,
it says he's
okay.
listening to Glass of Water.
Oh, does it?
That
Oh,
that
not
song
anymore. You stopped it now.
that song is an awesome music video. They're at like some like bar or something, and there's like neon signs everywhere.
There's a
and stuff.
music video?
I don't know if it's
Yeah,
like I don't
There was
I don't know if
Super
it's
positive song.
I don't know if it's an official music video. It's I don't know if it's an official music video or if it's like some other YouTube channel, but there is like and it's not like a music video. It's like just a live performance. That's
Oh, okay.
probably a more accurate description of it. But yeah, I believe what Gino and Asa, y'all haven't weighed in yet on "Now My Feet Won't Touch the Ground" as a
Not
closer.
yet. I think as a closer, it's tough because beyond thinking it's cute, I actually really love the song. But like you said, Brett, like it has this parachutes vibe. And that was my first introduction to Coldplay. So it immediately hit that special spot for me, but it just doesn't like fit within the vibe of the rest of the EP. Like it felt kind of off. Like it felt like a nice like come down moment off of the Osaka Sun mix of Lovers in Japan. But it just like Death and All His Friends was such a better closer for this set of songs that I probably would have preferred like a special mix of that to end that out instead of this, and maybe take this and put it on an anniversary mix of Parachutes and be like, oh yo, here's a bonus song.
Mhm. That's fair,
Awesome.
yeah.
Gino, thoughts on "Now My Feet Won't
Uh,
Touch the Ground"?
I like what Kate said about it. That it feels like coming home from a war. What you said, Kate.
Mhm.
Standalone, it is a nice little song. I think it's a weak way to end the EP with starting, especially since they started with Life in Technicolor too. And then I think it would have been great just ending at Lovers in Japan, because those were two special songs from the original album. That having one of them open, one of them close, I think would have been a way better way to end it. Than I, frankly, this random song. To be honest, with you. So it just felt like a random song that came out of nowhere. But yeah, it's on its own. It's a nice little song.
Yeah. Perfect. Awesome. All right. So let's talk about the title track. What'd you guys think about "Viva La Vida" as a song? I feel like there's a lot to discuss because it's one of their most iconic songs, and I feel like I literally was at the this like shopping center a few weeks ago, and they were playing it like at like in the outdoor like walking area. So, man, what do you guys think about "Viva La Vida"? Kate, we'll start with you, or Asa, you raise your hand.
Yeah, I just want to go just because I've got like 5 minutes
Okay.
until I gotta go. I think it's an excellent song, but I feel like Coldplay will never escape it. I feel like out of all of their title tracks or all of their singles, they're all really solid hits that you wouldn't mind hearing like frequently. Like if I was like popping in the Target, I'm like, oh, what a what a jam. I love this song. But I feel like this one was so overplayed because it felt so unique at the time that I'm like, Chris Martin, that's going to be that's what Ghost Stories is about. Like his ghost is this song that won't leave him alone because it just pops up everywhere. And it's just like, it's one of those like triumphant celebratory songs that you feel gets used in movies a lot as well. Um, so I feel like they captured lightning in a bottle with this song. Um, and it's lightning that is electrifying the world still.
It became a TikTok.
Yes.
It did.
Yeah,
Did it?
Wow.
it,
Yeah.
it was a mashup with another song that they had.
And the
beat.
mashups.
It's really good.
wow,
It's really
good.
good. Yeah.
Really?
That's why that TikTok went viral. Yeah.
You'll have to
You guys
send it
haven't
to
heard
me.
it? I'll send it to you.
Yeah, you'll have to
I
send
don't
it
know.
to
I've
me.
heard that.
Listen up.
Okay, so Asa, since you have to leave soon, we'll just go through the categories for you specifically, and then we'll loop back around for everybody. But music videos, did any of the music videos stand out to you? The Violet Hill music videos, the Viva music videos, Lost,
Yeah.
Strawberry Swing, anything you want to chime in on that end?
Violet Hill. Wow. Like that, seeing that music video, because I saw that music video before I got my hands on the album. And I was like, sold.
Yeah.
I'm so hyped for this album. Very memorable. At first I thought it was weird, like seeing Chris Martin's mouth like all like magnified.
Mhm.
But now like I go back and watch it, I'm like, that's cute. Like what a great memory, encapsulated time. Yeah, great song. Loved it.
Yeah. Favorite lyrics. Do you have a favorite lyric just off the top of your head that you can recall or that impacted you in a pretty big way?
Man, I feel like I don't remember the exact lyrics from it, but I'm just gonna say like the reason why "Lovers in Japan" is my favorite song are because of the words and the vibe that comes off of the song.
Mm-hmm.
Um, to me, it's like this. What's the what's what I'm looking for? It is very hopeful, but it's not all is okay kind of feeling for me whenever I would listen to it. And I was starting my sophomore year in college, and just at that point in my life, those words from that song just hit really well. So I can't pick an exact lyric, but just all of the lyrics in that song. Thank you,
Yeah.
Chris Martin.
Awesome. And then themes. Any themes jumped out to you or that resonated with you from the album? I know Kate kind of listed a lot of them off, but
Yeah. I honestly, and I think who was it? Was you said it was Eno?
Brian Eno, yeah.
Yeah, Brian Eno, who said he wanted every song to sound different.
Mm-hmm.
I think them accomplishing that task is why I can't draw anything like to answer that, because everything feels so succinctly unique. And I feel like you could listen, if you didn't know that this was all coming from one album, you could listen to each of these songs and maybe deduce that they're from different albums, not realize that they're all on the same, because like you listen to Parachutes, you listen to Rush of Blood to the Head, and you kind of get that vibe, right, that they're all from the same disc. But this, you don't get that.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
And then last one for we'll let you go. Ranking. Where would you rank this album?
Ooh, man. At the start of listening, or at the start of the podcast, I was gonna say, I'm gonna put it at a solid number 3.
Same.
But after talking about it, Kate with the amazing insight, it's starting to hit me back in the feels. I'm bumping it up to number 2.
Wow. Okay.
Nice.
Number
It's
2.
going back up to number 2. I'm sorry, Rush of Blood to the Head. You're going down to number 3. X and Y, Who Are You? Number 4.
I gotta be honest, because I didn't know you were gonna change your ranking there. I was like, man, am I gonna have to rank this number 1 just to like pull it up a little bit as much as possible? But now that you ranked it at number 2, maybe I don't have to. But hey, so thank you so much for taking time out of your day, man, to do this.
Thank you guys ever so much.
Yeah, it's so fun having you on, man. You bring an awesome and unique perspective every week, so we love having you.
Thank you. I appreciate it, and I will see you all next time.
Yes.
Bye.
Bye.
Later.
Bye.
All right, now that he's gone, we can really get down to brass tacks. All
All
right.
right.
Okay. Where did we leave off? Title track, I believe, right? So,
Yep.
anybody want to just jump in? What do you guys think of the song "Viva La Vida"?
Viva La Vida. So the TikTok that is in question, you hear the what is it, piano that starts the song, or is it
It's
Strings, I think.
it's
no, it's a
violin.
string, right?
Yeah, yeah.
It's violin, right? Right. So you hear the violin of the start of the song, and then comes in the lyrics. Oh shit! Shake that ass, like it.
Oh,
Shake
I have
TikTok.
heard this.
What?
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
That's
It's
why.
so funny. It's so
Wow.
good.
But it sounds so good, which I think is so cool because yeah, Viva La Vida is just it's like Asa was saying, it's one of those songs that they're never gonna like it, and it's a good song. It's not like I wouldn't be disappointed of that song. Like it's an incredible song to always have around, that still is very popular today and still will continue to be popular no matter what they do.
Yeah.
So yeah, Viva La Vida is incredible.
Josh.
I mean, I'm gonna say it every week. Still better than Parachutes. Parachutes is such a weak title track that, Viva La Vida is better than that. I think for me personally, I like X and Y and A Rush of Blood to the Head more, but that's simply because of, like, how overplayed Viva La Vida is, and I mean, like, rightfully so. Like, it's a good song, but like those other two were like gems for me, discovering those for the first time, listening to all these um albums. So yeah, I mean, still a good track though.
Yeah. Kate.
I think Viva La Vida is an excellent album title. I do not like the song.
Damn.
Wow.
What? Hot
Whoa.
take
You
Kate
were
over
waiting
here.
for that
Oh
one, huh?
shit.
No.
You were
Oh my
waiting
god.
for that
Jeez.
one.
Oh
I don't
man.
have a lot of great reasons. I just and it's not even like an overplayed thing. Like the first couple times I heard it, it was just one of those songs. I don't know. I think it has to do a lot with the lyrical content, to be honest. I'm the lyric hoe and the lyrics are very important to me. Um it's just kind of this like sad story about a king, and I just don't really care. I don't really care. I
Fair
don't
enough.
feel bad for him. And it has a lot of just like biblical references that I don't personally attach with at all. So I like skip. This is like my biggest skip on this album, to be honest. I just don't care. I'm so happy that this like put them in the limelight and like shot them up, and it's regarded as one of the best like rock songs of the 2000s. Like that's great, and I'm glad that so many people have connected with it. It's not my favorite.
Okay. I think the king they were referring to was I have his name written down here somewhere. King
Kanye West.
Hell yeah,
King
let's go.
Kanye West.
The one I definitely hated.
I think the king's name was like King Louis the 14th or something.
Mhm.
Whenever I mean, I guess the French have had a lot of revolutions, so
Mm.
I think it was
Just
a
like
one
that
in the
guy.
1800s, not the one in the 1700s.
Yes, of course.
So
Yeah,
used
yeah,
like
we all
used
know.
to like we've talked
Right,
about
Jen?
Well,
how so many of these songs
That's
have
the
this
14th.
like maybe like a slow start and then it like erupts into this glorious thing. It's the whole song is kind of one note. It stays very stagnant throughout the whole time. There isn't a part of the song where it's like, whoa, it's erupting into something amazing. It's kind of just like it's there. And it's not that it's not a well-produced song. I think the strings are really great. Like it's fine. It's just not my personal favorite at all.
yeah. Where did I write this down? Because I wanted to bring it up, but it is somewhere.
Give me the facts.
Yeah. So, the album was named after a Spanish phrase, which,
Mhm.
it's probably not shocking to anybody, that translates into "Long live life." And
Yes.
the album, which I love that too, just saying it in English, like, yeah, it's just saying "Long live life," like it's very very cool. And then yeah, the album has a lot of themes of love, life, death, and war. And you brought this up, Kate, and Asa did a little bit too. But I think this album is a better like political like statement than A Rush of Blood to the Head was. Not that both were trying to be
Yeah.
that, but I just feel like it invokes more imagery and thoughts on that. So
I think A Rush of Blood to the Head was more them expressing just some feelings that they had about like things that were happening in the world, and then these songs are more like slight actual commentary on it, as opposed to just like, I'm feeling a certain way.
yeah.
So I agree that it's more of a political statement for sure.
Yeah, and then the album cover of Viva La Vida is the 1830 painting "Liberty Leading the People" by, and it's a French name, and I'm gonna butcher it, but Eugene Delacroix, I believe is how.
Wow.
I believe.
Sounds French.
Delacroix.
And his name is Eugene, but
Roy?
it has like a not a tilde, like a little mark above
An
the
accent.
second E. Yeah, so I'm sure it's not Eugene either. But
Also, the translation that you say for "Long Live Life," right? That's what you said.
Mhm.
Direct translation is "Life, the Life."
life the life. Okay.
Like,
Life.
Yeah, it does say here. It does say here that it's best translated. So maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but that I like the sound of that
Long
too.
live life makes more sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that translation too, though, in a certain way.
Life, the Life.
Life the life.
I do
Basically, like live your life.
yeah,
Hey.
I thought it was like live.
Oh no,
That was very
no,
2080.
I was reading. No, "Live Your Life" is actually the direct translation.
Okay. Wow.
Oh, okay.
Live your life or live that life.
I do gotta say, just talking about the album cover for a minute, like when I first like saw it and was getting into the band, like it definitely felt unique. Like I don't know a lot of albums and bands that like use historical paintings in that way. I'm sure I'm sure there's been a ton. I just can't think of any. And so seeing that, and of course, I mean that painting is like so beautiful and it's so iconic with like the one revolutionary guy like holding up the gun and I oh yeah, Liberty,
Yeah.
Lady Liberty, like kind of leading the charge and looking regal, and so I just love the whole like painterly aspect of that cover, and then like a lot of the singles and EPs use the same like a painterly effect, and there's actually a track called "Famous Old Painters" that was going to be on the album and then didn't make the cut, and that's a great song too. So.
And going along with that, I don't know if you read this also, but the phrase "Viva La Vida" he saw on Frida Kahlo's last painting that she did. She had that phrase written on the painting, and
Wow.
that's where he actually saw it.
Wow. Okay.
So there's a lot of artistic influence with this album.
That's awesome. And then real quick too, like I wanted to show it, but Tap Tap Revenge Coldplay.
Yo.
It doesn't work
Yeah.
anymore.
What?
It doesn't work anymor. But
Oh my
Oh my god!
I crushed Viva La Vida on that song because it was essentially like the Guitar Hero like tap tap like game. So
Right.
Wait, have you
That's
had
getting
that
very
phone
weird.
since 2008?
no, it's an old app from a phone from 2000.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay, got
Yeah.
it. That's cool.
Yeah, that app has like some bangers from Parachutes, A Rush of Blood to the Head. I think one song
That's
from
fun.
XY. So yeah, like so yeah, let's transition to music videos now. We can just make this real quick, but any of the music videos stand out to any of y'all? If you've watched them before, if you watched them on this listen. I know Josh watched that one Anton Corbijn music video of Viva. So
Yeah.
Josh, you want to start with that?
I mean, I forgot to go through all the music videos, but I did see there was one for Strawberry Swin and Violent Hill. But like, I'll never forget, like here in Canada, our MTV equivalent is called Much Music, and they always have the Much Music like top 10 countdown where they're always just playing the 10 best music videos like that are just popping off, and like that was your daytime television if you like stayed home sick. So like in
Yes.
2008, like being sick and just like staying home from school for the day and watching Much Top 10 Countdown, I always remember like seeing the Viva La Vida music video there, and it just like it was awesome. It was awesome. So like I'll always have that like memory ingrained in my head, and I love it, and like the weird art style of it. It's like it's so unique and like something that like I couldn't comprehend at like 10 how cool this music video is. But I think now there's just something about the simplicity of the one I saw today today that just love more. With like Chris Martin and his little little king get up, and then like him looking for the band and the band showing up at the end there. I think
And
Anton
his little
Corbijn.
backup.
Yeah. Yeah. I think Anton Corbijn really brought it. Really brought it with that one. I'd say simple yet effective
Mm.
with the Anton Corbijn
Well,
version.
yeah, like I mean that song is literally about like the fall of a king and his reign.
Right.
So seeing a king just walk around all lonely is like
Yeah, aimlessly. Yeah.
yeah, that's great.
I like it.
Anybody else? Anybody else had any impactful thoughts on the music videos?
I guess I have a question for lovers in Japan.
Uh-huh.
I was watching it now. Is there a reason that they released the video 3 years after the album? Released?
They've done this a couple times, I think, too. But like they like deleted and re-uploaded music videos a bunch
they
in the
deleted and
past.
re-uploaded.
So
I
like I remember like because this is the era I got into them, like watching music videos that were uploaded in like 2005, 6, whatever, and then like they re-uploaded a bunch in like 2010 and like higher quality like
Oh.
4K
Gotta work that algorithm.
and all that
Right.
stuff. So
Yeah,
it must be something like
Stay
that.
relevant.
Yeah.
A lot of music videos for this album. I didn't realize.
Yeah. Well, and
I
then
actually didn't know there was one for Lovers in Japan.
yeah, it's
I forgot about it. Watching it right now, I realized I remember when this came out, and I've definitely seen it, but I forgot.
I didn't rewatch that one listening to this, but I remember it's just burned into my brain. But them like just teleporting everywhere, like I always thought that was pretty cool. So
Yeah, I like it.
Billy, any like wow moments from the music videos of this era?
Yeah, it was just I was refreshing my memory with the him walking around as the king, and I think that definitely fits in with like the theme a little bit of the song itself.
Yeah.
And I know we talked about it already, but I had also never seen that video that Kate had sent us.
That was wow.
Yeah. And I was watching it and it was like, oh, this is wild. And then something that I thought was like, oh, they could make like a 2020 version of this.
Good.
That's like these things like they just stay the same, I guess. 10 years 13 years later, so but
Seriously, everyone watching this video right now, just open a new tab, go to YouTube, type in Violet Hill Coldplay video, whatever. Politicians dancing. It'll come up as you're typing, and please watch it. It's just interesting.
Yeah.
Like for real.
You're gonna feel some stuff.
Yeah, it'll make you feel things.
Yeah, for me, and I said this at the beginning, but the Viva La Vida music video, and in a way, I'm gonna kind of co-op the iTunes commercial, like, but just like the visuals of them from that song, especially the official one with the painter effect, but then even like the apple like silhouette effect, like, and the way like they're all like kind of like dancing with their instruments and stuff, like it just stuck with me and was instrumental in me becoming a fan, and definitely love that one. And then the one Kate linked to us a few days ago, like that was so powerful and impactful that I had no idea. I've never seen that before. So watching that, I was like, whoa, like new Coldplay content for me in 2021. Like that's kind of crazy. So that was really cool. And Strawberry Swing, like it's such a cute song, and the music video is so adorable too. So I like that one a lot too. I actually am higher on all these music. Lovers in Japan is great. Lost is okay. Violet Hills is good. The official one. Yeah, there's a lot of great music videos for this album, actually. All right, let's transition to themes. We can get through this real quick. Any themes pop out to you guys? I know I name dropped pretty much most of them, but
many.
any
well, not that many. Like there's like 2 per usual.
Yeah. Any
they're just
faves that y'all took
yeah.
away impacted you, Gino?
I didn't know we were going to talk about themes. Have we been doing that?
Kinda.
I feel like I usually take it over.
I
So
was
sorry
gonna
about
throw
that.
it over to Kate. Yeah,
You didn't even listen to the whole album, bro.
I don't think anybody can say it even better than Kate, to be honest.
Yeah.
Oh my god. All right. Well, we got war and we got love. You know,
That's usually
and we
what
got
it is.
death.
Yeah.
Love, war, death.
All his friends.
Yeah, that's right. There you go.
Friends there too. Again, a lot of so yeah, a lot of these songs I feel like could just be in the background of like a young soldier who has to go off to war.
Mhm.
That's like the vibes I get. Like Cemeteries of London is like right in the middle of it. Lovers in Japan. I have to see this quote from Chris Martin. Why it's called Lovers in Japan is because he says, no one associates romance with Japan. Everyone thinks Japan is just about Hitachi and neon signs. But every time we're there, we see these amazing sunrises, and it's very sexy. So that's why they named the song Lovers in Japan.
I mean, the super tall Gundams are pretty sexy too. Like, come on, Chris.
Sexy Gundams.
There's
Yeah,
sexy stuff
Gundams.
going on in Japan. But yeah, I don't know. I think it's interesting because like when you look at the lyrics of Lovers in Japan, like it really continues with the theme of war. But like I think it's also like, I don't know, like there's the lyric tonight, maybe we're gonna run dreaming of the Osaka sun. To me, it's like a couple that's living like in a country that's in the turmoil of war. They're like dreaming about like running away to Japan and just like starting a new life as lovers in Japan. Like that's kind of like the feeling I get,
Right.
or that I think they were trying to evoke in that song. We've talked about Viva La Vida already. Strawberry Swing, fun fact, they did a study at the British Academy of Sound Therapy and showed that Strawberry Swing is one of the most psychologically relaxing songs ever recorded. It was ranked number 5.
Wow. It does relax. It's very relaxing.
Right? And I think maybe that's why almost. I think that's why it maybe makes me have those like strange vibes I was talking about of like how I can't always listen to it. I think it almost puts me in this like hypnotic trance. I don't know. It's very interesting.
I get that.
Right? It's so weird. But yeah, Strawberry Swing, it sounds nostalgic. It's like one of those songs that feels like you've heard it your whole life, even if you're listening to it for the first time. Like those are the vibes I get. And I think that song I wrote that it's about war and nostalgia, and that it's possibly about like a soldier who's having to head off to war and like daydreaming about like being younger with like a friend or a lover or something, and they're like trying to enjoy this like beautiful perfect day, but then there's also like, you know, like they say cold water bring me round, now my feet won't touch the ground. I think that is kind of like the cold water is like the reality of like, okay, you got to head out and go fight in this war. And then Death and All His Friends, like like those first few lyrics of like, oh, winter we got carried, and then away over on the rooftops, let's get married. I think it's kind of like they're young and they've just been through a bunch of shit, and then it's like, okay, but we kind of want to try to like run away and start our lives. So it's interesting how there's like a lot of similar themes, and yet in every single song it sounds so different, even though it's kind of like a very similar message.
Yeah. Wow.
I don't know. I just think this album's great.
Yeah.
And going back to those reviews that we were talking about before, like how could you not see that like all the songs are about war?
Right?
Yeah.
Yep.
Like, you got the album cover imagery of revolution, and then like, all the songs.
Was it Pitchfork where they were like, oh, they were trying to, or like, I don't know, what did they say?
I guess it wasn't like overt like enough,
The record's violent revolution themed artwork is misleading. Viva is more like a bloodless coup, shrewd and inconspicuous in its progressive impulses.
They're dumb. What? Did they not listen to Cemeteries of London? Like that is like the perfect like album cover imagery like for that song alone, plus a bunch of other songs. Like I don't understand why they thought that at all, to be
It was
honest.
a French flag and not a London flag, so that's probably
All-
why.
But they talk about like Cemeteries. Well, I don't know. Okay, never mind. I don't want to say something wrong.
I don't think I brought this up at the beginning, and I was supposed to, but the Metacritic was 72 for this album, and it got an 8.4 user score. So still kind of low. It's giving
Pretty
the
like
green,
average.
yeah, it's giving the green color though. So that's something.
Yeah.
We kind of already talked about it, so we can just continue that, and then we'll get to the rankings. But favorite lyrics? Did any lyrics resonate with y'all? No, we already talked about that beforehand a little bit, and Kate brought it up just now. But Billy, any lyrics that just knocked you over the floor, man?
First, I just need to derail for a second. Are we doing Hot Stop?
Yes. We
I
can
feel
do
like
that.
I did the biggest hot stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, we already.
Oh, you
Kate
did,
can
you
just do
did.
a quick like recap of that later, but yeah, let's do Hot Stop right now. Actually, I like that a lot. So Hot Stop. What's the song that just makes you want to go? Stop! No way.
I have my hand up.
Yeah.
Because I have 5 minutes,
Okay.
and I want to go as well.
Yes.
So I'm gonna use my hand for these last few things. Okay. Hot stop. Yes.
Okay.
Big no.
Damn.
Big no for me.
Okay.
Big no for me.
Okay.
No, actually, no. You know what? I think I say yes because I think it's too long. It's obviously the longest song on the album. I think it's not good enough to be that long. But I think if we're going off hot stop, saying stop, Cemeteries of London just gives that so much. I think.
Okay.
It gives that hot stop coming after Life in Technicolor, and then you're giving me this. You know what I mean? It's like Kate was saying, like Life in Technicolor, you could like listen, blast it in the car, and then put in Cemeteries of London after is like someone in the back seat telling you, "Hey, my parents just died." It's like like them coming in and just saying that. It's, come on, you ruined the vibe, dude.
Yeah.
It's
Oh my
like,
god. That was
so,
great.
so Cemeteries of London, I think, would probably be my least favorite then, for sure.
Okay. Josh,
Yeah.
what's your hot stop of the week, man? What song just makes you slam on your phone, dude, or your MacBook, I guess, in this case?
I think I'm gonna go Lost. Lost
Ah.
exclamation mark. I just
Ooh.
there's something
Lost.
about like the beat to it and the like clapping and the upbeat dancing that like or like kind of tone to it. I'm not really about. And then it like in terms of the way it connects to the themes, I think lyrically it's like pretty weak. Like um Kate brought up that one lyric, which I think is my go-to lyric of like about recycled revenge. I think given the time period, it's obviously about Obama coming into power and getting rid of that like recycled revenge from the Iraq War from the Bush administration because
Hmm.
they were seeking revenge in a lot of ways versus the that's a very impactful lyric versus like here on Lost it's about American imperialism, but it's like you can be the biggest fish in the smallest pond and stuff like that. Would like you might be a big fish in a little pond. It doesn't mean you've won because along may come a bigger one. It's weird. Like I feel like Chris Martin's like, yeah, I got this like great lyric about American imperialism and like the influence of America, and it's just like it's a weird little like metaphor about a big big fish in a little pond. So yeah, just beat wise and like lyrically, it doesn't really do anything for me.
Interesting. I like that lyric that he just lampooned only because it makes me think of Phantom Menace when they're in the Gungan escape ship. You know what I mean? You know what I'm talking about, right? Yeah.
Yes, with the one fish and then the bigger.
Yeah, yeah.
the bigger.
There's always a bigger fish, so
It's always a bigger fish.
yeah. Billy, Hot stop, dude. What song just makes you just go like that Jose Marino meme where the soccer coach is like taking off his earphones, man. Which song?
I feel like this is a cop out, but like the latter portion of Yes, I always skip. I like get to the end of
Right.
Yes, and I'm like, okay, I had a good time. Skip. But for the juicier one, I'm gonna go with Strawberry Swing.
What?
What?
The fuck is wrong with you?
Whoa!
Wow.
Whoa.
Wow. Okay.
I don't know. Like, I never vibed with it. It's so like. Maybe it was because I listened to it when I was an edgy teen, and I was like, oh, this is like saccharine, like whatever. But
This is too relaxing for my
I just never
teen
vibe with it.
angst.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm a teen. I gotta be angsty. I'm in high school. You know.
It can't be relaxing.
Knowing the other songs you said you've loved on the previous albums that are way more chill than that, like I don't believe that for a second. Sorry.
But yeah,
Being controversial for controversial sake, right?
Kate,
Mhm.
you want to do a quick recap of your Viva La Vida hate real quick for your hot
Yeah,
stop?
don't like Viva La Vida, don't care about a fallen king, sad story, so sorry, take your gold and go. I don't care. It's a one-liner for me. The song doesn't go anywhere musically. There's no big like, ooh, the song's getting somewhere. It's just a one note, whatever. I don't care. My other skips are generally Yes and honestly 42. Like I think it's a good song. I just like I don't vibe with it as much. Although I love the second half of it.
Mhm.
The lyrics of you thought you might have seen a ghost, you didn't get to heaven, but you made it close. I wish that the melody of that second part of the song was the whole song. Then it would be a fucking banger and I'd love it. So yeah. And something funny, I used to have to skip the song Lost because even though iTunes was like at the brink of its like big whatever, I still was downloading albums on LimeWire. And Lost, I got like a bad glitchy version, and in the middle of it, it like started to make this really scary noise and then would cut off. And so I would start to listen to Lost because I liked it, and then I would have to skip it and it was right after the lyric, like every gun you ever had went off, and because that line's kind of like yeah, it used to scare me a lot, so I used to have to skip Lost. But now I can listen to the whole thing because I'm an adult and I pay for Apple Music. So
Yeah, that was one big thing. I'll go with my hot stuff real quick, but I have Apple Music and Spotify, and Apple Music sounds
Same.
way better than Spotify.
The Lost List.
I was shocked. I listened to
well, they have that new thing that's supposed to
Dolby Atmos.
Yeah.
It's like
Dolby Atmos and the Apple Digital Mix.
I was listening to
Chef
the
kiss.
Mac Miller single from the mixtape that's coming out in a month, and it was just way better on Apple Music. I was like, oh man, now like I gotta put all my stuff back. But my hot stop, this is tough. Like as I said earlier, like every song I feel like is pretty good. I might have to go with Cemeteries of London just because of what Gino said. Like, it's not a bad song on its own, but in tandem with Life in Technicolor, like it just doesn't gel as much as I'd like. Josh made some good points about Lost too. I'm still like percolating a little bit in my brain about like how I think about that song now. So that you
got
excellent
the
points.
history book for that one.
Thank you.
He made some excellent points for that. For the EP, I gotta go with probably Lost Plus. The Jay-Z verse is just I know they're friends in real life, so that's probably why they did it, but it just doesn't flow. It just doesn't flow. Well, you brought up 42. The Left Right Left album, which is the live version of this era, is fantastic, and that version of 42 is much better.
I will listen to it.
That was an album that they handed out at concerts, so Asa might have gotten one. And then also they put it on their website to download for free. So like I remember downloading it for free and I was like, oh, this is so cool. I bought a physical CD. I bought a physical CD from the UK like in 2012 to like have it.
What?
It's somewhere, but yeah, that was fantastic live album. The whole process of this album, I think this was their first album where they kind of did like weird like guerrilla marketing, like
Right.
recording in studios but calling them like the bakery and the nunnery, and like not actually like listing where they were at. And
Right.
42, roadie 42, like this guy that managed their website, or was like a roadie that went with them everywhere, like leaked, or not leaked, but like drip fed information about the album and singles coming out after and post Viva era stuff. He probably did it before as well.
Right.
So that was, I just love how they roll out their stuff. But yeah, let's get go ahead.
Gino, you got to get going. Do you want to give us your final
Yeah.
ranking and possibly your lyric speed round?
Lyric, I was looking at Strawberry Swing lyrics. I think just I want to say the last verse. Well, the sky could be blue, could be gray without you. I'm just miles away. Well, the sky could be blue. I don't mind without you. It's a waste of time.
You're having a Coldplay themed wedding, okay? I'm just saying it right now. The whole playlist.
Let's go.
It's gonna be Coldplay.
I get it. You know what I mean? I get it. So yeah, like I said before, this album has more of my favorite songs than the other album does. So I'm gonna rank it number 1, dude. Number 1.
Wow.
Ooh, let's go.
Ranking it number
Oh my
1.
God.
Dude, you shocked me.
Wow.
Okay, so
yeah.
let's get to the rankings right now then. So Asa gave it a 2. He ranked it number 2 out of the 4 so far. Gino just gave it the number 1 spot.
Number 1.
Kate, where would you rank it?
I got
Number 1.
So I'm gonna get out of here.
Number 1.
Yeah.
All right.
Number 1. That's it. It's number 1, dude.
Thank you, Gino.
Right,
we appreciate
Bye,
you.
Gino.
Bye, Gino.
Love you.
See you guys.
Bye.
Wow, so Kate gives it a number 1 as well.
I
And
do.
then Billy, where would you rank this, man? Whoa!
Go.
Wow. Wow.
Wow!
Let's go.
Before we get to Josh, I just gotta say, like, when everyone was giving their initial thoughts, I was like, is this gonna be like 3 or 4? Like, what happened? Okay, Josh, where would you rank this album, man?
Well, okay. I thought I'd have Asa and Gino here to back me up. Apparently they're cowards. How dare they leave mid-recording? I thought, because I'm 3. I think if we were doing the regular Viva La Vida version, I'd go like strong 2. You could argue 1, but because of the Prospect March, and this was something Asa was talking about earlier in the podcast, it drags on. The 117 overstays its welcome, which was another point Gino brought up too. So I was like, all right, we got 3 guys for number 3, and then it's up to y'all to see where it like pans out. And then they just they stabbed me in the back and they left. Freaking Asa got swayed to give it a 2, and Gino went 1, and I'm now sitting here the only 3. Wow.
I have to say, I'm giving it a 1 despite not liking the Prospects version as much.
Yeah.
Like, I'm
But
kind
we're
of
ranking the Prospects version, not the regular one. If this was just Viva
That's
La
good,
Vida, this
Josh.
would be
It's
number
that
2.
good.
But it overstays
that
its
I don't
good.
want to.
It's
No,
overstays
that's
its welcome.
totally fair. I think fair if you're ranking something, and like you can still like segment it in a way if you want. Like, I don't know. I think that's okay.
Like, I have this physical album, and I only have the 1 disc. I got the 10 tracks as our Lord and Savior Chris Martin, somewhat intended it. So that is what I am going off of here.
Easy breezy 46 minutes, but that's a different album. This is the Prospects March. This is
It's a different
Brett was
disc.
playing
It's a
himself
different
by picking this
disc.
album.
I know.
because
I'm kind of
it overstayed its
no. I think it's cool
God
to talk
damn it.
about them, but I don't think that it is like the album. It's 2 different
It's not
discs.
the album.
Yeah.
It's not
It's
the
no
album.
parachutes.
It's they
It's-
classify it as an EP. It's a different version. It is not the album.
This is some sketchy shit going on. I'm gonna just say that.
The hot takes continue.
I do gotta say, Gino just went live on Twitch. So that's what he had to go do.
Wow.
A Final Fantasy stream. A Final
Yeah.
Fantasy stream. That's what he said in the voice chat.
Oh, did he?
Did
Okay,
not-
I didn't
yeah.
see that.
Yeah, the
I guess that's fine. Whatever.
Uh,
We have gone pretty long.
yeah.
He's already just dug the
Brett,
knife in my back, so
Let's get
it is what it
to
is.
Brett's ranking.
Yeah, so we got Josh at 3, Asa at 2, Gino at 2,
Gino at 1.
Gino at
You know,
1,
One.
and then Billy and Kate, y'all are both 1 as well.
Yeah.
So, man,
Again, it's the Prospects March edition we're ranking, not standard Viva La Vida,
Well,
not the nice easy.
I'm
Still
well
one.
aware, Josh.
It has to be
well
one
aware.
because Life in Technicolor 2 is like the best song, and that's on the Prospects version. So therefore, my ranking
That's true.
stands. Okay.
yeah, I'm pretty high on the Prospects March EP, Josh. And
I'm high on the music video and Life in Technicolor 2 and
like
then everything.
Life in
else is just
Technicolor 2 is brilliant. I love Postcards from Far Away. I love a good short instrumental. Glass Water, high energy, great song. Prospects March, the song itself is so beautiful. It's
Very
so,
pretty. Yeah.
Yes. Oh man. Yeah, I love it. Lovers in Japan is great. The Osaka Sun and Now My Feet. Like, I feel like out of the 8 there, I love 6 of them, and there's 2 that I'm like, maybe not. So man, am I gonna give this a 1? Like, am I gonna do parachutes like that? Like, I don't know.
Yeah, think of what
you
you're
are,
doing to
Brett. I think you
parachutes.
are.
Do it.
It's gonna be
I-
number 1.
Yeah, I feel like so parachutes is number 1 in my heart, but if I'm ranking them and just trying to like evaluate all these albums, I might have to give Viva La Vida number 1. So I'm giving it a number 1 slot. So
Blasphemy.
so we got 4 number 1 spots. We got 1, 2, and 1, 3. So where would that aggregate out to? Would that just be number 1 then, I'm assuming?
Yeah, the
That's
majority
too many
now.
number ones for it to not be number
That's a
one.
number
at this
one.
point.
It's four.
That's
It's four number ones
Majority
out of a what?
number one.
6.
So what's number 2?
Parachutes. It's so
Okay.
So rankings now is
Yeah.
Viva La Vida number 1, Parachutes number 2, A Rush of Blood to the Head 3, and X and Y at number 4. So those are the
Justice
official.
for X and Y.
I
Let me just
love
say
X and
that
Y.
last
I love
time
X and Y.
I gave that the number 3 spot. It's still above Rush of Blood and
Wow.
to the
I
Head
love
in
X
my
and
heart.
Y. Yeah.
But
So yeah,
wow.
those are official rankings. Next week, we have Milo Xyloto. The
That's crazy that we're there already.
the first I believe it's
To
their,
me.
I believe it's the first concept album from Coldplay. We'll get into it next week. There's so many wild and unique things about this album, so I'm excited to get to it, guys. But Asa, Gino, thanks for being here. You already left, but thank you. Anyways,
You coward.
Josh, Kate, and Billy, thank you guys for doing this as well. And we will see you next week, everybody, for Milo Xyloto.